My fellow perpetually overwhelmed people of the world, this one's for you. You may have heard of the personal curriculum trend, which has been floating around social media for the past 6 months or so, which is essentially creating your own self study syllabus for a topic you want to learn. Maybe you came across it and thought, hey, that's a great idea, but when will I actually find the time to follow through? Although I fully support the intention behind the personal curriculum, what kind of puts me off of it is the fact that it's very easy to get caught in that planning stage, especially because it's a trendy keyword. You come across it on Instagram or TikTok, you get inspired and excited, you spend a bunch of time refining your topic and searching for the perfect resources. Maybe you read one or two of them, and then life starts lifing, and suddenly that painstakingly crafted curriculum loses its luster. I'm certain that that's what would happen to me if I made one. So, for that reason, I've spent the past few weeks tinkering around with alternate setups, and what I've come up with looks different from the trendier personal curriculums, but it emphasizes motivation and simplicity. So I'm sharing my final setup with all of you, and by the end of this video, you'll have a fully customizable curriculum outline that you can get started using right now, today. You will need a document you can easily edit. Although I tend to recommend pen and paper for pretty much everything, I do actually think a digital file is best here, because that way you can add and delete and move things around without creating that visual mess that pen leaves behind. So I've been using Notion, and I guess this is me coming out as one of those Notion people. And in fact, I made a Notion template to get you started as quickly as possible. It'll be linked in the description below, totally free, no strings attached, and there are some instructions included on how to install it. Otherwise, a Google Doc, a Word doc, an Excel doc, wherever you keep your docs is a perfectly fine option. You may also want to have an app blocker like Scrolly on hand, who's kindly sponsoring today's video. Scrolly is a physical screen time blocker that doesn't let you cheat. If you want to unlock your apps, you'll need to have your Scrolly on hand. No sneaking around in your settings. Just keep him somewhere out of reach while you're studying, and you're sure to have a satisfying and focused session. Just go to scrollyapp.io or click the link in the description to get your Scrolly today. Quick overview. So, my personal curriculum takes a more general education approach as opposed to a specialist approach, and that's in part because this channel and I take a more Renaissance person sort of mindset, but more importantly, it's because people get bored easily. My other hesitation about the personal curriculum trend is that although your topic and your resources feel super duper exciting when you first choose them, a few weeks or months down the line, you'll inevitably come across something else that interests you, and then those pre-made choices might feel like a burden. So instead of organizing by topic, I organized mine by four types, the two main ones being reading and writing. So input and output. No matter what your goals are or what you want to learn, those are the two non-negotiables for getting there. But then you can choose as few or as many topics and projects within those types as you like. And then I have two hobbies, just other things you enjoy doing that involve skills, progress, learning, etc. This could be playing an instrument, learning a craft, athletics or fitness, learning a foreign language, although that may overlap with reading, what have you. Even if these things aren't necessarily academic, they are courses of study, so why not treat them like it? Of course, you don't need two hobbies specifically or any at all, or maybe you want more than two. This whole thing is just take what you need and leave the rest. Although I do think more than two might be a lot, but that's up to you. As for keeping up motivation, I implemented a reward system that I'm calling credits in keeping with the college curriculum theming. You'll assign a credit value for each book or project you complete, depending on how long or hefty it is, and each credit represents a dollar amount of your choosing. You'll set a number of credits needed to graduate, and when you reach that number, you'll spend that dollar amount on a little treat yourself moment.
3 words for you. Treat yourself.
In full honesty, I think this little credit system is part of the reason why this simplified personal curriculum is working so well for me right now. Humans like external motivation. We like having a clear, tangible goal to work toward. In a university, the external motivation is first the grade and then ultimately the degree. I figure if letting yourself save up for and then buy something fun you've had your eye on motivates you to read, write, and study for your own personal enrichment, then why not utilize that? Now, obviously, don't go wild and keep this healthily within your budget, but don't feel guilty about it either. That's where I struggle. So I think the best way to make all of that make sense is just to walk you through the curriculum template and then show you real quick how I filled out my own. Look at me finally figuring out the screen recording picture in picture thing. Only took 2 years, but we made it. So here it is, the simple personal curriculum template. Everything here is easy to edit, just add, delete, move around as much or as little as you please. And if you're not using Notion, this is still the general outline I would recommend using and adapting to whatever software you are using. Up top, we have the credit system that if you're choosing to use, you'll put all of your numbers up in here. And notice that there are no deadlines or time limits. Whenever you finish your goal, simply start over and make a new one, no pressure. And then your areas of focus. Although I made reading and writing the two standard ones and marked them both high priority, you can change those two if you'd like. And then here you'll add in and prioritize your other two hobbies. And I found just setting this kind of loose priority system just helped me choose what I want to focus on any given day, depending on, how much time I have, my energy levels, etc. And now for the main areas of focus. Each one has a little space to jot down what your goal is, what does success look like in this area to you, and then to mark down how many credits you'll assign to each book or each project. And then each of the four main types has at least one of these, what I think Notion calls a database. That's where you'll keep track of everything you have in the works, as well as its status at the time. In reading, I included two databases, one for books and then one for articles, although of course that's optional if you're not really interested. So in the topic and genre area, I added a few standard ones just to get you started. You can delete those or add your own. And then everything you eventually mark done will be a credit earned. Then at the bottom of each section, there's this little space for notes and ideas and key takeaways. Then moving on to the writing database, it's pretty much the same thing. Your goals, your credits, the name of your writing project, the type that it is, and then its status. Your writing projects don't need to be these massive undertakings, though of course they can be, just anything that makes you think about what you already read. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe in the future I will do a video on creating your own writing assignments. That could be fun. And then the next two databases are devoted to your hobbies, whatever those may be, and they're both the same. Got the name of a project, space where you can type in your own description, and the same status markers. I figured that's pretty much all you need for either of those. Under the databases, we have this little miscellaneous section for any project or goal that doesn't fit cleanly into the above categories. And the last major section is the monthly review, just a low pressure place to take some notes on what you finished, what you didn't do, what's going well, what might need a little bit of work, and how many credits you accrued. And we'll finish off with this for future reference section where you can just jot down some quick ideas, notes, or resources for things you don't want to forget. Say the next book you want to read, or a topic you heard about, a writer you heard about, stuff like that. So here's how I filled out my curriculum template. Start looking at my credit system. I did the basic 1 credit equals $1. My credits needed to graduate is 50. Want to keep myself working hard at this for a while. And I'm going to exchange them tentatively for makeup I do not need but do want. Then my areas of focus are still reading and writing, of course, which are the highest priorities. And then my piano playing, which is medium, and knitting and crochet, which is low. Now for reading, I've mentioned this a few times before, it's still the same. My goal for reading this year is to hopefully work my way through the entire Christian Bible by the end of the year, plus some supplemental material. And alongside that, I'm really trying to read through my physical TBR and all those books on my shelves that I have not touched in years. I decided that each book I finish will be 2 credits, an article, being significantly shorter will just be a half, and then each book of the Bible will be one. So what I really enjoy about this system as I have it right now is that every book I have listed relates to my larger goals, but there's a lot of variety in between them, and that's all fine and dandy. You know, everything from the Bible itself to essays on radical feminism from the 1970s. And you can see these are the ones that I have done and have allotted myself credits for. Oh, I just started the Rebecca Solnit, so I will mark that as in progress. My articles are mostly just things I've bookmarked over the past several years and that I just haven't gotten to. Some of them relate to my bigger goals, some of them don't, but they are all of interest to me. And then writing, my main goal is to write some more full-length essays, primarily for Substack, but in general, and then review each book I read just to get back into that habit of really thinking through and processing an entire book and like putting it into my own words. And then similarly, one essay is one credit and one review is a half. Moving along to piano playing. My goal here is to add to my repertoire of memorized pieces. I'm revisiting a lot right now that I learned years ago, but never like really memorize them where they are like playable in the moment. So that's what I'm working towards. And each piece that's memorized to performance level will be 2 credits. Oh, and then in the notes section, just a short note on kind of where in the process I am exactly. And knitting and crochet, my, least important, but still want to be on top of area is just to finish all of these works and projects that I have going, because there are a few, before I start the next one. In my miscellaneous section, the only thing I have is this freelance writing course I bought and signed up for that I've kind of let go by the wayside, but I absolutely want to finish that because I paid for it. And because that's a heftier time commitment, that's a full 4 credits for me. Then my monthly review section. I'm filming this on the 31st, so looking back the whole month, I completed, and this really helped me to complete, wrote and posted 1 essay, finished 3 books, finished Exodus, and then memorized 2 books. Then the most important part is what I'm changing next month. My big takeaway is that I need to make my Bible reading more regularly scheduled instead of just like based on my mood, or else I will not finish it by the end of the year. We are pretty much in April and I have finished 3 books of it, and by golly, that thing is long. Like I knew it was long, it's like really long. My overall rating for that reason was 4 stars. Very happy, but need to make some tweaks. And the total credits I accrued from the very time I started this, although I think I technically started it in February, is 15. So let's call a spade a spade. This is a glorified and gamified to-do list. I'm self-aware. But if it works, it works. And really, I found it's maybe less of a to-do list and more like a menu that allows for flexibility while keeping you on track to reaching your intellectual goals. And truth be told, not to like get too personal, but at the same time, like we're open about these things on this channel. I've been struggling recently with the worst depressive episode I've had, like kind of in years. Yay, fun. Which is also why this video is coming out like 2 weeks later than I wanted it to, and it's probably shorter than usual. And of course, I didn't know that was going to happen when I started designing this curriculum, but I've actually found that it's proven immensely helpful in getting me to just do something. Do I have the energy today to memorize a Bach fugue? Hell no. But can I read a 10-page article on the future of the humanities? Yeah, I think so. And then I get to change its status to done and give myself a little credit and think to myself, hey, at least I didn't totally rot today. All of that is to say, if this alternative personal curriculum setup is helping me stay inspired and motivated while feeling like utter crap, and I have not abandoned it, then maybe you'll find it useful too. And I hope you do. Again, the link to the template is down in the description alongside a few step-by-step instructions on how to install it. That takes like 60 seconds, if that. It's really easy. If you are indeed interested in this simplified personal curriculum, I'd really appreciate it if you give this video a like. That is the easiest and fastest way to help support the channel. And if you'd like some more actionable advice on self-education, you may want to watch these videos next. And that's going to be it for me today. If you have any questions, do leave them in the comments. I will try to get to as many as I can. And I really appreciate you spending your time with me here today on Thought Couture. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.